Hi, everyone. My name's David Stanley. I host the Spiritual Journey on YouTube. Quick adjustments here. And I've also got a small group on Facebook, the Spiritual Journey 2021. Today, I'd like to talk about the Shiva-sponsored summit, Flat Earth versus Globe Earth. Yes, only one of them is right. So that's what I want to talk about today. So let me just get my place here. Shiva Summer Update. Now, this all started on January 2025. Yeah, a video between Shiva and David Weiss, and the video between him and David Weiss has been widely circulated and seen. Yes. Now, I was thrilled after watching the video by the prospect of a real experiment to be peer-reviewed at last concerning if the Earth is a globe or flat, with two teams working together, one team from both camps. Yes, I'm kind of 99% plus convinced that the Earth is flat. It would be good to have a peer-reviewed experiment to back it up. But the Mind Shock video results showed no one thought the experiment would go ahead, and the idea was abandoned by most flat earthers. So I contacted Dave Weiss, April 2025. He was negative about the experiment going ahead and reminded me about Mind Shock's assessment of Shiva, pinned in the comments section. Yeah, Dunning-Kruger champions, Dr. Shiva, aired your Mind Shock podcast, Logic, Science, and Education. Also that, despite repeated messages and text, there was no reply from Shiva camp, neither from Shiva nor his assistant. So Dave was really very negative about it. Yeah, Shiva hadn't replied. So nothing was going to happen. And this was in April. So the whole idea of the experiment was dead in the water. My response, or seemed dead in the water, my response was it was a brilliant opportunity to honor our part of the public agreement and have all the videos, etc., to back up our claim at the end of it all. On the January video, Shiva agreed with David Weiss to start in June. So it was now April, and so we had to get everything together real fast. So I decided to contact Shiva myself and find out why he hadn't replied. I filled out the form on Shiva's website to send a message to Shiva early April and got an email to go to his webinar, but I was not interested at first. Why should I go to his webinar? I wanted a reply. Then April 9th, I got a text message from Shiva's assistant and UK leader, Michael Griffiths, who said Shiva had asked him to contact me. We spoke for about half an hour on the phone. Then, after many phone texts, he sent a few emails. And in one email, he said this as a direct quote. Now, this is 11th of April, 2025. Michael's instructions. Hi, David. Dr. Shiva was very specific with Flat Earth Dave. He asked him to propose an experiment and also get a team of flat earthers together. Did Shiva, Dr. Shiva said if David did that, he would get an equal number of scientists together to take part in the experiment. Did Flat Earth do this? Meaning propose the experiment and get a team of flat earthers together. I recall Flat Earth Dave just wanted to talk about evidence he had that Earth is flat. This was not the point, as the experiment itself would provide evidence for or against, or even perhaps another outcome not foreseen, i.e. the proposed experiment would be independent. Therefore, you need to put a proposed experiment into a concise form without any superfluous or biased evidence. Also, you need to get a team of flat earthers together. What is the experiment in concise terms? Can you get a team of flat earthers together? If so, I will do my best to help this happen. Best regards, Michael. So that was Michael's message. So, nice message from Michael, very positive. Shortly after I wrote to Michael, by the way, this is the first contact I had from Michael, Wednesday, 9th of April. That's 9th of April, 2025, at 11:15. And hi, David, he says. I'm Michael Griffiths from Truth Freedom Health. Dr. Shiva wanted me to reach out to you. You had provided your number when you signed up for Truth Freedom Health. I'm one of the local leaders in the UK. When is a good time to chat? Best regards, Michael. And he goes on to leave some links, truthfreedomhealth.com and vashiva.com/orientation/, and he leaves that on my phone. Anyway, I was glad to reply by email to Michael. I'm glad to say we have now got the Flat Earth group together and had our first meeting. And all that were present agreed on one experiment. We will soon be able to send you a video of what that entails. Low cost and easily repeatable for most pilots. And I've CC'd Dave Weiss in for this email. Best regards, David Stanley. A Telegram group was set up. Both Dave Weiss and myself sent invitations early in May 2025 to about 20 people. Yeah, there were 17, 18 people that we expected to show up, but we had a small group, and we even made 2 videos of our meeting. I personally sent the experiment we decided on to Michael Griffiths. Yes, as he had specifically gave us instructions to do so. Michael replied he had sent the experiment to Shiva and directors, and that was May 16th. He says, "Thank you, David. I have forwarded your proposal to Dr. Shiva and directors." So I was quite happy. We had done everything to honor the public agreement we made on video between Shiva and David Weiss. A public agreement that was binding. Then we waited and waited. No reply in June or July, except for one text message from Shiva. Where did you send the experiment? He was bluffing us. I didn't receive the experiment. Yes. No. His assistant, Michael Griffiths, sent the experiment to him and to the directors, so they got it. There's no doubt about that. The public agreement stated that Dave would pick his team of 10 flat earthers, and Shiva would bring 10 MIT scientists to the table. And the two teams would agree on one experiment. And that is very important. The two teams would agree on one experiment. Shiva said he would give Dave a level playing field, but all of that turned out to be a lie, because Shiva used the excuse that he didn't receive the experiment or any communication from Dave to go back on the agreement. And that was his big lie, which he started the whole summit on. Yeah, David didn't contact me. He's such a grifter. I mean, what a pathetic lie. Then he created a new set of rules to put forward the experiment he wanted concerning the sun. Yes, he reduced the teams to 3 aside and chose the flat Earth team to weaken the flat Earth side. Yes, we wanted our best people in there, and he excluded them. We made some videos about silence from Shiva, etc., all pinned in the comments section. They're all dated. Later, I sent an email to Michael, all the best reasons why flat Earth is important. Yes, stating what Justin was doing, what for Brevard County. Yes. Now, then on Shiva's Twitter X, I was asked twice if I wanted to be on the panel. I asked that more advanced flat earthers be put first because I'd like to be a spiritual observer on the panel. Yes, not exactly a participant, but someone to back everything up and make sure everything went well. Then I was asked to send my BO, which I did, citing all my university qualifications. Then I was invited to his webinar, but when I raised my hand to speak, he just started shouting like a mad dictator, throwing insults at all flat earthers and myself, and having me removed from the webinar before I could reply. I mean, what sort of attitude is that? He just invited me 3 hours before the webinar to come to the webinar, and he said he would be there. Yes. And then when I'm there, all he does is slag me down, slag off all flat earthers, and exclude me. Yeah, have me removed from the webinar before I could reply. Now, later on, then I received an email to come to the pre-summit meeting, but that was cancelled. Yeah, they cancelled my pre-summit invitation. So Shiva had all my details, but decided not to invite me, even when one flat earther had dropped out, leaving just 2 flat earthers on the panel. Yeah, he had all my details. He could have invited me really, really quick. He wouldn't even give a reason why he disqualified Stone from the panel, or refused both Alan and Shane. The big insult was that he didn't even invite Whitsitt, again presenting lies for excuses. So the summit started with a weakened flat Earth team chosen by Shiva, and a panel of Globers that didn't include 10 MIT scientists as agreed. Yeah, those were important parts of the agreement that we were honoring. The summit started, and Shiva said David Weiss didn't get back to him before the proposed June start. That is a big lie. So Shiva proved himself to be a liar to the world. We did everything to honor the public agreement made in January 2025 and on video. seen worldwide. And we have all the receipts to back up that shown on the videos put out by Stone and Kevin. Now, text messages, phone calls, emails, everything. At the end of the second summit, Shiva gave a so-called random call out to the public, and he asked Michael Griffiths, yes, just by random, yes, the guy I was dealing with, yeah, his assistant, who sent him the all the details about our proposed experiment, and got in contact with him to give his opinion of the summit so far. But from Michael came only silence. I can only imagine that Michael did not want to confirm Shiva's lies and did not want to support Shiva's deceitful summit further. At the same time, he didn't want to anger his boss, to just stay silent in the background. So Shiva lies and rigs the summit for only one purpose: to deceive the world. Who could possibly vote for an obviously deceptive guy like that? He went on with his lies over this period, poisoning the well even before the summit, finding excuses to deceive. From our camp, the Globers were disqualified by the Flat Earthers. Yeah, they were not, because of Shiva's attitude. Yeah, they were really disqualified. Nevertheless, we went ahead with the summit, knowing we could simply boycott the summit at any time, or use the summit to our advantage for those who are honest and have eyes to see. Kevin did a great job. The objective he had in mind was to present Stone's ILS experiment as best he could to the world, an experiment that, if done correctly, proves the Earth is flat and can be measured by small teams all over the world. A foolproof experiment with only a very small margin of error. In conclusion, if the Earth were a globe, then Shiva wouldn't have to lie about David Weiss, saying he didn't get in contact with him before June, when clearly he did. Yes? He wouldn't have to poison the well. Yes? Now, if Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have to lie about Witz's application to be on the panel, making excuses. If the Earth were a globe, he would have kept his public agreement with David Weiss. Yeah, 10 flat earthers chosen by David Weiss and 10 MIT scientists provided by Shiva. If the Earth was a globe, that should have been easy. If the Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have chosen a weak flat Earth team for the summit. Now, he would have at least put strong members in there, 3 strong members, yeah, like Alan, Stone, and Shane, and Whitsitt, yes, 3 of the 4. If the Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have changed the rules for the summit. Yes. In my opinion, he was just too scared. So he had to change everything and be deceptive. That's in my opinion. If the Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have resorted to inviting Toon to his team of MIT scientists, promoting Toon to an MIT scientist. Yeah, that's a laugh. If the Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have let 2 teams agree on just one experiment. Sorry, he would have let 2 teams agree on just one experiment, as in the initial public agreement. Instead, all he wanted to do was dominate the conversation, dominate the summit, make sure it ran the way he wanted it to run. Yeah, the two teams should have agreed on just one experiment. They didn't let that happen. If the Earth were a globe, he wouldn't have had to use deception as his main tactic in the summit. He would have used evidence, yes, or let it run out properly. If the Earth were a globe, he would have invited Stone, Allen, and Shane to the summit. And if the Earth were a globe, Michael Griffiths would have spoken at the end of the summit when invited to, in my opinion. For all these reasons, I can truly thank Dr. Shiva for sponsoring this summit, as it only goes to add to all the evidence flat earthers have collected over the past 10 or so years that Earth is indeed flat. So, yes, thank you, Dr. Shiva. You did great lying, deceiving. You showed the world exactly what the globe is, full of lies and deception. However, we'd still like to do our experiment all over the world. This is why I'm supporting and amplifying Stone's requests to people that can help in any way to get the ILS experiment done in their region, or generally just help get that experiment done. Yes. Now, Stone got to present his experiment correctly on Globebusters. I'd like to amplify Stone's Globebusters message to the world. Yes, where he states, yes, and you can see this on the video itself. The video link I will put in the show notes and pinned. He says quite simply, yes, if you can help in any way, then contact him on this address. I hope that's in focus. Yeah, contact him at that address. Now, as another confirmation, that address is on the video. So where was I? So if you are a pilot or want to be part of the team or can help with the financial aspects of the ILS experiment, I have pinned Stone's ILS experiment presentation in the comments. Yes, section for all details as part of a playlist concerning the history of the experiment video starting in April 2025. Stone's message is quite simple. He'd like to hear from people who would like to be involved in the ILS experiment in one way or another. Yes. And on the Globebusters video, Stone's message starts at the 46-minute point of the video, and I've set the video at that timestamp. So, in conclusion, email Stone. Yes, this is the email. Yes, very, very simple. You can see that same email on the Globebusters video. So, if you want to put to rest the idea that Earth is either flat or spherical, yeah, this experiment can help. Personally, I'd like to hear from anyone interested in helping with the experiment, the ILS experiment, who lives in the British Isles or in China. Yes. Now, that's all from me and from the spiritual journey today. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Don't forget, my two books are here. Yes, I've got a third book coming out, which should be very interesting. A phenomenal spiritual autobiography. That should be very interesting for those that are interested in spiritual things. So bye from me, and hope to see you soon. Oh, don't forget to love, like, and subscribe if you have a mind to do so. Bye for now.